Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is set to introduce many different twists and turns, as well as revelations and surprises in this film by director J.J. Abrams. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. So this movie really is, at the end of the day, going to be a revelation film. A movie with a lot of surprises that's really going to catch the audience off guard and make us look back at the past 8 Star Wars movies in a different light, which honestly could be a good or a bad thing. It's all a matter of how it's going to be executed and written for this movie by JJ, Chris Terrio, and even George Lucas, the creator of this massive franchise himself. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the set leaks, this is where things begin to get very intriguing, involving the characters of Rey, Kylo, and Luke Skywalker, and a major hint and/or indicator of Rey's demise in the movie. Now, specifically, it's described that a scene was shot during the month of January over at Cardington between both Adam Driver, Mark Hamill, and Daisy Ridley, where it's described that Daisy had to act for a tragic scene in which she was laying on the ground with what appeared to be some kind of wound near the side of Rey's body by her ribs. It's described that this scene is separate from when Rey is unconscious where Kylo protects her. One of the scenes involved Daisy Ridley acting in a way of struggling with the wound, where she eventually passes out. It's described that Hamill was next to Daisy and whispering in her ear, as she was acting in a way as if she was fading and slowly falling over. It's described to be a scene in which Rey hears Luke's Force Ghost voice as she begins to lose consciousness from the wound, and that she eventually leads to a scene in which Luke's Force Ghost talks to Kylo Ren. The wound is described to have taken place after some kind of battle, and that Luke, portrayed by Mark Hamill, even acted in a scene in which he pointed his hand at Rey from 6 feet away, where some CGI of energy is planned to be used in between both Luke and Rey. So let's go over a couple of parts about this. Now, there have been a lot of hints and/or indicators before in the past of either Kylo and/or Rey's demise in this movie, which, you know, either or would be rather upsetting to a large audience, I guess, if you will. And if we look at episode 9, the fact that this movie really is aiming to be an all-out war and a war to end all wars, along with that, you're going to get a lot of sacrifices. Now, to me, do I really think that Disney and Lucasfilm would really kill off Rey? Honestly, guys, I really don't know if this would really be the case, if they would really go to that length to do such a thing to a main character. But after all, it really would be quite a big surprise and something that a lot of fans wouldn't really expect to see per se, if they are indeed true fans of the franchise and are expecting more around the lines of the villain to perish in this movie. So, you guys may recall that resurrection is going to be used in this film in some way, shape, or form. Now, I believe that this is yet another gotcha moment in episode 9 where Rey technically dies, quote-unquote, but at the same exact time, she could very well be brought back to life by Luke Skywalker's Force Ghost, since Mark Hamill was actually said to be on set, acting, of course, with Adam Driver and Daisy Ridley in that particular moment, where he actually was pointing his hand toward Rey and using that as an ability in order for the CG team, in order to add in a lot of energy effects that would go over to Daisy Ridley's Rey, which could very well be a hint and/or indicator that she would be resurrected at the very end of the actual movie itself. So when we look at everything that's happening with the film, we do know that this movie really is going to be a movie that's going to center on Star Wars lore from the expanded universe that will be implemented into the current Disney canon, that's going to really be used in a way to benefit many of the sequel trilogy characters. Now, this is said to be a sequence in which Rey has a wound that is really making her struggle, that's near her ribs, near her rib cage, if you will, where she's struggling. She hears the Force Ghost voice of Luke Skywalker trying to guide her through all this, to the point where she eventually just falls slowly down onto the ground, and that's where Luke's Force Ghost eventually confronts Kylo Ren. This is all said to have taken place after a massive battle between either Rey and Kylo, or the Resistance going up against the First Order, and maybe Rey got caught in the crossfire for all we know. So, the thing here is this, alright? We do know that this movie, and we have heard this before by JJ and crew, is that this movie is going to be a film with a lot of sacrifices, since all corners of the galaxy are going to get involved in order to take down the First Order and Supreme Leader Ren. And with that being said, the fact that they are aiming to do such a thing in this movie where a lot of sacrifices were or are going to be made in this story, I'm honestly very, scared that they're going to kill off Lando Calrissian or Leia or maybe even Chewbacca at that, more of the minor characters in comparison to the bigger and major characters in this story, right? So, as much as I don't want some of these characters to die, it seems like that's exactly where they are going in Episode 9, since there will be a lot of sacrifices in this film. So hopefully, you know, Chewbacca won't bite the dust. You know, hopefully Lando Calrissian will stay alive, and even Leia at that. But as far as the major characters go, like Kylo and Rey, something is going on here where it seems like they are both going to die, or at least one of them are going to die, and they're going to be brought back to life in this specific situation here toward the third act of Episode 9. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.